Good afternoon. It is May 22nd, 2025. And today, this is how I'm seeing it. So the price action for today starts about right here. So the way I saw it, we had this spike in channel yesterday. And so basically today, we're working in this range. We had the sell climax, and that breakout failed. And we found resistance up here. Again, sold off to support, and we found support here, and we're pretty much going higher the rest of the day. I'm seeing this triangle. So we broke out to the low side, and that failed, and broke out to the high side, and that failed. Um, we had this potential sell to close rally that started at 12:35. Well, not potential, this sell to close rally. So you could have gotten in on this if you just, anticipated that this breakout would fail. You sell, you get good bar here, good bar here. I'll make this larger. Uh, I'll put sell the close. Boom, good bar, good bar, good bar. So maybe when this bar closes with a lot of stem, maybe you take profits there. I mean, that's, you can clearly see that's where a bunch of people took profits. We've had three bear bars in a row right now. Market's closing in 5 minutes to the public, but um, that's what happened today. Here's how it looks on the daily chart. Bull doji right now. We'll see if that changes. But yeah, I'm looking at this chart. I can go down to this. This is just a lot of price action. Uh, yeah, we can take a look at this. Let me pause the video and mark this up real quick. Oh, again, from yesterday, we had that spike and channel, and then we went sideways. You got the sell climax right here. Let's take a look at this. I'm about to make this a little more transparent. Let's say 3. So 5 o'clock comes in, I guess, right at the end of this sell-off. And so, you know, let's see, did we hit a measured move? Yeah. Yep. So look at that. A sell-off to a perfect measured move before it bounces. So you could get in when you see this strong bull bar, you could get in on that. Recognize your risk. Um, but it turns out to be a good move. And then it doesn't really bounce here. You get 1, 2 legs of correction. Bounces, you can't, there's nothing here that you could enter on. We come up here. Clearly, this is a spike and channel. And you get a first entry, what looks like a failed second entry. So, I mean, I think you can consider that if you see what is going on. To pause the video, I believe I was talking about this. If you see this spike down and are anticipating a channel, I think this is a reasonable bet. It does look like 2 legs of correction, and it looks like a failed second entry long. So I'm guessing this is the channel, and we just get, unfortunately, you just get sideways stuff after that. This looks kind of promising because you're getting lower highs off this trend line. So, you enter here, probably want to scalp out when you get a tail on the bottom. If you enter on this lower high, you probably want to scalp out when you get a tail on the bottom. So, I mean, maybe you could enter this one, looking at it like this is a new high, even though technically it's not. Failed second entry long. and you would get lucky there. But I mean, like it's tough. This is congested. You're at the midline of this measured move. It's just not ideal. What I do like here is this strong move up, and then you bounce right here at the midline, and then you get an even bigger bull bar here, and you bounce. Only problem is you get poor follow through. First entry failed, second entry short, but you look like you're going into resistance. Turns out to be a good move, but then you get this buy climax, and I think this is a reasonable bet. But the problem is you got a 5 bar bull micro channel. Um, you got some tail on this one, but these 3 bars look very strong. But I think that's a reasonable entry. It turns out to be very good. And again, you get this sort of two-legged pullback that kind of looks like a repeat of this over here. So maybe you take that, you get a lower high here. I actually believe I entered this. I really liked it, but I don't think I was looking at this chart. I think I was looking at something else. But anyway, we bounce, and you get a pretty strong bounce. Spike and channel up, sideways, gap below the EMA, and then you get one leg up, the second leg's weaker. So I mean, if you see all that, boom, this is a nice move, this lower high. Uh, Man, and unfortunately this pullback. But this would get you a big move. So let me talk through this again. Obviously, we've had range like price action uh, all day, making higher lows. So, it is a bias to the upside, but look, we get a spike and channel to the high. We get a break of the channel, consecutive tops, I guess you would say, just a lot of resistance right here. And then we gap below the EMA. Then we get one leg up and what looks to me like a second leg up. And this second leg up is not as long as this first leg up. It's not really as strong, but this leg isn't really as strong. So it's not as uh it's not as long in duration. This is what I don't know, 15 bars, 12 bars. Whereas this is a 3 bar buy climax, and so I just like we gap below the EMA again, lower high. I think this is a very good entry. Um, and it turns out to be a good one. So that's how I saw it today. There's one last look at it. Here's a look at the daily chart. So I hope everyone had a great day. I'll be back tomorrow.